Welcome into match previews with myself, Kaylin, Kyle, Sasha Kleshin, and Bradley Wright Phillips. A big game happening up in Canada's Toronto. Welcome Minnesota United. For Toronto, coming off a 1-1 draw on the road in Inter Miami. And for Minnesota, another road win, this time 2-1 against NYCFC. So let's start with the home side, gentlemen.
Okay, it's an exciting matchup, actually, how Minnesota are playing well. But then Toronto, it's about building off of the last two results. You play the best team in the West in Vancouver, you get a 1-1 draw. Now you go to Inter Miami, difficult game. You pull out a draw, which they actually could have won if chances were taken. I'm excited to see if they can build on this. Bernadetti's playing well. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists in these 7 matches. Insigne gets an assist in the last game. So it seems like they're turning the corner right now. Hopefully they can bring that into the game this weekend.
I think this game actually sets up perfectly for Minnesota on the road. They're the lowest team in the league in terms of possession, and they'll hit you on the counterattack. Toronto playing at home will want the ball, will want to create chances. Minnesota will defend deep and then try to spring. Tani Oluwaseyi, Kelvin Yeboah in the attacking third. They've shown a propensity to get goals. Oluwaseyi's got 5 on the season. Yeboah's got 4. These guys, when they get out on the run and into the open space, they can be a problem. This is going to be a very good one up north.
Toronto welcoming Minnesota this coming Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. You can catch it right here on MLS Season Pass.
Toronto contra Minnesota a las 2:30, abriendo esta jornada de sábado. Buen partido de fútbol con un Toronto que jugó buen partido ante Miami el pasado Sunday.
What's up, soccer fans, football fans, footy fans, whatever you want to call it? Toronto FC. We're playing Minnesota United, and we've got to get the victory today. Come on, TFC. When are we going to start getting some results? We are already in too many games into the season without a win. We have got to turn this around and turn it around quick, or else we can forget about the playoffs. We're already sitting at home with no Champions League. We're in a tough matchup in the first round of the Canadian Championship because it's MLS competition when everybody else is playing the Canadian Championship teams, like, you know, the Forge and Cavalry and lower league CPL teams. Come on, TFC. Don't let us down. We're really at the bottom right now. We are really, really, really low, and we've been very, very low before. We don't like it. Let's turn it around, and we're going to start that right now. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon for MLS Soccer, regular season soccer. Big news here on the show with Toronto Sports Insider. Sister channel Sons of a Pitch Soccer is sponsoring an MLS Go Youth Tournament just outside Chicago because that's where I live. We will be working with Evolution Soccer Club and Sons of a Pitch Soccer to bring you awesome youth soccer content. My kid and some of their friends, his club, and we're doing a lot of work with Manchester United and their youth evolution system, hence the name. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for hitting that like button, chatting it up, cheering on our Reds. Make sure you cheer loud. Lots of Go TFC goes. Get access to those emojis, 99 cents a month. That's it. Join as a member. Super easy. We'll see you back in the chat. Thanks for being here. Go TFC. Go, baby. Let's go. Come on, TFC. Come on. Didn't expect that one, did you?
Yeah, that's not guaranteed. You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, the deals you want, and the service you deserve. Or we'll make it right. That's the AT&T guarantee.
Jameson, a famously smooth whiskey from a famously big family. So big that Jose here could be one of us. You see, he's nearly as smooth as our whiskey. For him, wrong turns usually turn out all right. Even when he shows up uninvited, he's never empty-handed. And he only ever drinks smooth Jameson whiskey. Surely he must be part of the family. Must be a Jameson.
Julie needs tires. But to Julie, buying tires feels about the same as getting robocalls. Annoying. Don't answer that call, Julie. Discount Tire presents Treadwell. With just a few clicks, Treadwell analyzes millions of data points and delivers personalized results to you. Simple. Easy. Finally, you have someone who cares.
Let's get you taken care of.
At RBC Wealth Management, we know you have ideas for your future. Ideas that can have you taking more time off or putting more time in. They could mean more peace and quiet or more fun and games. Ideas you can drive or that drive you. From settling in to living it up, what ideas will you bring to life? No more with RBC Wealth Management.
Señoras y señores,
Welcome to Sunday Night Soccer.
St. Louis City has been desperate for luck. Bouchard la está pidiendo Hart, la pelota la tiene, cuidado con esta. Here comes Columbus again, and he's sliding it through. It's Russell Rowe! Oh, wow!
Will one of these teams break through?
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro.
Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
With 19 hotel brands at IHG Hotels and Resorts, you can guest how you guest. Explore the neighborhood. Or live like a local at Hotel Indigo. Unplug for the day. Or plunge into a long weekend at a Holiday Inn. Take on Miami, Mexico City, Minneapolis, or any Holiday Inn Express destination. Choose from 19 IHG hotel brands and earn points for free nights with IHG One Rewards.
Matt, I have one strong reservation about you. I've heard that you're obsessed with actors and directors liking you.
Me?
Yeah.
That could not be further from the truth.
What is wrong with you?
Everyone's kind of pissed at you right now.
Daddy!
But I am known as the most talent-friendly studio head in all of Hollywood.
You can't possibly believe that.
I do!
Oh my God, that is so sad.
If I was a flower growing wild and free, all I want is you to be my sweet honeybee. And if I was a tree growing tall and green, all I want is you to shade me and be my If you were a wink, I'd be a nod. If you were a seed, well, I'd be a pod. If you were a floor, I'd want to be a rug. And if you were a kiss, I know I'd be a hug.
Welcome back to BMO Fields. MLS Week 8 action about to get underway right by the lakeside. Toronto and Minnesota United coming up live here on MLS Season Pass. The man in the middle today, lead referee Malik Badawi. Californian, joined by his crew on site and assisted by the group in Arlington, Texas, led by our VAR, Carol and Chinar. Well, do we call it a false nine? But whatever it is, Derek Etienne Jr. plays up top for TFC today. It's his 200th MLS appearance. And returning to his hometown for his first ever game at BMO Field, Canadian international, Tani Oluwaseyi. The form of Federico Bernardeschi has done so much for Toronto in recent weeks. They've drawn against the best in the West and the East in their last two, but they need a win, and if they're going to get it, they'll have to get past a Canadian international stopper in Dane St. Clair, the man from Pickering, Ontario, who has his parents watching him in the crowd today. Fabian and Julie Julie in the center in the Minnesota shirt today. And watching her son. First time he's played an MLS match at this stadium. Well, just a slight sense of some springtime in the air on a mid-April afternoon in Ontario. Still a day to wrap up warm, but you can just feel a little bit of heat of summer on the way as well. And will that bring a change in fortunes for the home team? What can give by the lakeside today? A team unbeaten in 6 or a side winless in 7. Match week 8 is underway in Major League Soccer. We start right here in Toronto. We're playing from left to right. They're all in red. The Loons of Minnesota in the black and blue. Successful on the road last week and looking to maintain an excellent run since they were beaten on the first weekend of the season. It took just 61 seconds for Eric Ramsey's Loons to get on the score sheet at Yankee Stadium last week. A fast start, a team with a winning mentality, certainly. And as for the home team, well, trying to find that quality themselves and quickly. And Ross Smith, there's something that's a bit quicker about you as well as you're back north of the border as well. What are you looking forward to today?
Well, two teams that start the match feeling very confident. For Toronto, it's because of the togetherness that they've shown in the last 2 matches. And for Minnesota, 6 matches unbeaten. And they start games quickly, as you mentioned, Tony. The question is, for both sides, who deals with the bigger threats better? Bernardeschi and Insigne, the 2 Italians, are a huge talent when they turn up. And the matchup between Rosales and Bernardeschi, that's going to be an intriguing one. Already we've seen Rosales get stuck in. Those are going to be little victories for Rosales to really test himself against one of the league's top talents. And for Minnesota, their threat is up top, and they play to that strength. They don't mess around with possession. They get it forward, and then they ask questions. The 2 center backs for Toronto, Long and Rosted, they have their hands full tonight.
Whole clutch of players, of course, missing for Robin Fraser, the Toronto head coach. He's got the defenders, Henry Wingo and Nixon Gomez, as I mentioned, has joined the walking wounded this week. Zane Montlouis's been out as well for a few weeks. And then DeAndre Kerr, Ola Brynhildsen, injured last week. He put himself about, really physical striker down in Miami. Here's Ludd for Minnesota. Their first real foray forward. The impressive Pereira now to deliver the game's first cross. Dangerous. And in the back post, it's going to be deflected and saved by Johnson away to his right-hand side. An early shot on goal. Minnesota looking to score early again on the road. It was Bongo Hukle Kwangwane at the back post who it fell to. He hasn't scored this season, the top scorer for Minnesota. He very nearly broke the deadlock here.
It started all the way up with Pereira, a little flick on. He's showing his talent. He's really emerging. Number 26 here on the ball. He started things off, and then he puts this ball in for Kwangwane, who's at that back stick. And what did Eric Ramsey say? He wants someone getting forward to think like a winger. He's in that wing-back position. What a chance that is. Just whiffs at it in the end. He slices it too much.
Yeboah, in the meantime, from the long throw from Boxall, trying to get in there. It's turned behind. And it will be a goal kick.
So Pereira, great ball. He stands it up, gets the other side of Flores. But Kwangwane, as it drops to him, you can see that ball was going to go wide. Doesn't get good contact on it. He cuts too much across it. But that's what Eric Ramsey wants to see from him on that opposite side. When he defends, defend like a fullback. But when you attack for Kwangwane, attack like a winger.
Oluwaseyi with the foul on the far side of the field on Petretta. It was a real slice from Kwangwane, wasn't it? And it actually only went closer to goal because of a deflection of a kind of combination of Long and Yeboah. Reminder of the teams running across the screen. A couple of changes for TFC because of those injuries I mentioned before. It was a much simpler selection for Eric Ramsey with his group winning in New York last week. They made some tactical adjustments in the second half. They had to see that game out a bit because they were under a lot of pressure at Yankee Stadium, having got 2 first-half goals. This is Kelvin Yeboah. The 1-2 with Pereira. Trapp, who got a rare goal for him last week. That's booted away by Long and out for a throw, if it'll go, on the far side.
Right, the way you're seeing with Eric Ramsey's side and the style that they want to play, which was interesting up at the training ground yesterday, chatting with Robin Fraser. He was saying, I don't think in my time that I've seen another team play the style that Eric Ramsey is playing. And he said it makes it so difficult to prep against, because you have 2 out-and-out number 9 strikers who just want to run. They want to pull defenders all over the place, but then they get numbers around it. I think what you're seeing with Pereira as well, already he's getting involved, getting his touches. He is really emerging as a top talent for this Minnesota team. But he's important because he links up and he joins in. Just imagine Tony with Rusted and Long. They'd be waking up this morning, stretching their hamstrings a little extra, knowing that they could potentially get pulled around this park.
Bernadeschi's not going to reach that crossfield pass. It'll go out for a goal kick. Certainly plenty for TFC head coach Robin Fraser to mull over. He said after the draw in Miami last week, it felt like a group that was really committed to winning. He's impressed with the way and the energy and spirit and the culture they're creating. Can they take that first step today, though? They're still looking for a first win of the season.
Chatting to him yesterday as he stepped off the training ground, it was lively, and they were training in a bubble on turf because the grass pitches, it's too cold, it's not ready for them. They've only trained on grass, on a grass surface 3 times this year, which makes it so challenging. There's a difference. No matter what you want to say, and as good as the turf is these days, it's still not quite the same. So going inside the bubble, the atmosphere was lively, the players, the level of engagement, competition, it was really good. And when he stepped off, he said, it's not the mood you expect from a team who hasn't won yet. But they believe in how they're progressing. And they believe that a win, as he said, hopefully comes today.
He definitely feels once they get outside on the grass, they'll get some consistency. And that will have an effect. Counterpart Eric Ramsey, who we had a chat to before the game here today, came marching out, walked straight across the field, took a look at the surroundings. Very different, of course, from Yankee Stadium last week. He said they've arrived with a spring in their step, a real sense of confidence, but no complacency from a team that hasn't tasted defeat since the opening weekend of the season, and when they were beaten late by LAFC. One of the things Eric Ramsey was doing before the game, he noticeably went out and stepped right across the field, step by step, all the way. And when he came back to talk to us, he said part of that was due to just seeing what kind of range Michael Boxall can get on these long throws. Of course, he got them deep into the box at Yankee Stadium, the narrower confines of the ballpark. That bit wider here at BMO Field.
They were so good on set pieces, Minnesota. Meticulous to the detail. But the commitment level as well. I think that's what stands out what Eric Ramsey has. And he said for the most part, we've had this team together since League's Cup last year. So there's an understanding of how we work. And we're coming together nicely now.
Pereira, 4 assists on the season for him. Couple last week.
He's a player that last year was, the setup was 2 10s and then a 9. He was playing on the left side of the 10. And Eric Ramsey said just pulling him back a little bit more. He doesn't enjoy as much with his back to goal. So you put him facing forward, and all of a sudden now things really start to make sense.
Well, we're only in the 9th minute, but this is the 4th or 5th of these Boxall long throws to come in from the New Zealand international. Another deep one. Flores with the powerful header away.
Hope he was in the gym for his upper body this week, Boxall.
using every last inch to get the run up. Flores up there with Cozy Thompson to clear. Helped back in by Rosales. And then it was Pereira who was thinking about it but didn't get the chance to pull the trigger. Trapp now to lift it in. Johnson to make a comfortable catch. 7 saves last week for Sean Johnson. He has 1 shutout this season, and that was here in the last home game against Vancouver. Mentioned that TFC have found some form, if not winning form, hosting the best in the West in Vancouver a couple of weeks ago. Goalless draw that one, and then getting that point in Miami last Sunday night, in which Johnson had to be at his best. A game that could have gone either way. I mean, it's one thing you say about you watch Miami, as we all, I'm sure, are watching a lot of their games at the moment. You're going to get chances, but you've got to take them. Bernardeschi had a very late chance there on a night where he scored a fine goal.
Corbenu's hitting the post twice as well.
Yeah.
He looked a little more like it in those instances. I think Corbenu, he's one playing off that left-hand side. He's staying wide. Be interesting with him and Bernardeschi. How much can they pin back Hlongwane and Rosales? And that's going to be key tonight. Because if Hlongwane and Rosales start getting the run of the pitch, then Bernardeschi and Corbenu, they're going to get pulled all over the place. So who is able to impose themselves more on those wide areas?
Sorio wide to Corbenu. Flores is an option and goes back to Kevin Long, who comes back into the side today. The 6th start of the season for him. This is Bernardeschi, an ever-present with the cross to the near post, and that's Insigne on the follow-up, and over the top it goes.
It's good from Bernardeschi. This is what we want to see, that 1v1 with Rosales. He can dip onto his favorite left foot, but he can also go to the line and whip balls in. Boxall deals with it initially. You would say that's one Insigne, given his level of ability. Should be steering that a little better towards goal than what we've seen.
It's Bernardeschi's Italian teammate Insigne, who scored actually the last time these two sides met, a 1-1 draw in St. Paul a couple of years ago.
Insigne has been getting a lot of praise around the media, in the media here around Toronto, just for his work rate and what he's offering, showing a better attitude over the last week.
The player spotlight is presented by Allstate. You're in good hands. Look at Dane Sinclair, who returns to his hometown in Toronto. Of course, first time he's actually played as an MLS player here. He's played in this stadium for his country. Number 1. He's got that jersey at the moment for the Canadian national team. It's a long time since he was a player in the Epiphany Church Soccer League locally, where he started as just a 4-year-old.
There's good competition there for the goalkeeping position. Max Crepeau. Just wonder if James Pantemis, Portland as well, will start to grab the attention a little bit. But right now it's St. Clair. He's been terrific.
Yeah, there's a lot of tickets that have been handed out by Dane St. Clair and Tani Oluwaseyi. They've got pockets of friends and family all over this stadium today. We've already seen Julie and Fabian Dane's parents. Dane grew up in Scarborough and Pickering nearby.
There was a great chat with Oluwaseyi on the pitch before the game as well, and he's saying this is the most amount of friends, family that I've played in front of professionally.
He's got his first coach watching him here today as well, Ronald Davidson. These are great moments, big moments to remember. There's so much work that goes into blooding these players. It's a long journey, and it's days like this where you can kind of square the circle, and in amongst the cut and thrust of the battle, you can think about the achievement, the level of achievement.
And where he's come from as well. I mean, what a background, and he's grinded for every moment. Oluwaseyi. And you don't see this very often in modern day football, that two number 9s, but two pure number 9s, I would call them, Tony, that just want to get forward. But also, and I like what Eric Ramsey said the fact that neither one of them necessarily just want to be the lone star. Let me just be that sole number 9. I want to be the main man. He says they both want to share responsibilities. They both want to look after one another, and they play that way.
I thought it was interesting when you think about the modern day. Eric Ramsey's telling us that comes with some compromise when you're playing like that. You see so few teams play with the two out-and-out number 9s, like you say. But it's a format that's working for Minnesota right now.
They're predictable. Predictably unpredictable.
That's right, that was his quote to us. Players invested in the way they're playing, and certainly proving a challenge and an early season force. If you do look at standings this early in the season, it's always risky, of course, so few games in, but they're sitting 3rd right now in the Western Conference. Playoff team last year as well, of course.
But I like, Tony, early on what Long and Rosted are doing. They're making sure that they're covering themselves an extra couple of yards, so they're not getting so tight to the two strikers from Minnesota that they're going to be in a foot race if the ball goes big and they get turns. They're making sure that they have at least 5 yards, and they're on their toes. They were alert early on. They're going to need to stay that way and keep that level of focus, though, throughout the entirety of this match. As a centre back like Long and Rosted, you always want to go in it and win what's in front of you. But I think today's a day where, look, if I don't get tight and I don't keep things in front of me, that's okay, because that ground in behind me is more important to look after, given the two strikers you're going up against.
Corbeau trying to go down the outside, and he was caught. It's going to be the free kick. Kwamwane's challenge, and Malik Badawi to the book, and the first yellow card.
It's a tough one to take in the early stages of the match. Kwamwane, it's the one area that I think he really needs to work on is 1v1 defending. He's got the pace, he doesn't need to go in. You can see that Diaz is across, and Kwamwane will have Corbeau for pace. So for me, that's a lazy challenge. It's an unnecessary challenge as well, given that he had support behind him.
Well, it provides Toronto with an opportunity to launch this in through the gifted right boot of Lorenzo Insigne. With centre-halves up there, Rosted has already scored from a set-piece this season. It's well won back and set up for Flores to cross.
There it is. That's what you saw against Inter Miami, where Robin Fraser started to say that commitment level, engagement from our top end talent needs to be there as Bernadeschi comes across 20 yards to win a tackle.
Yeah, credited with some huge plays last week in post-match comments from Robin Fraser. Huge plays at both ends of the field. And exactly like you say, Ross, when you've got that investment from your players and you're developing a culture. After years really of upheaval here, hasn't settled down since the days of Greg Vanney, really, has it?
And for Robin Fraser, the understanding that first things first, his marker right now to get to is that engagement, commitment. And during our conversation, I said, we haven't chatted a lot about tactics, and he said, well, we can't get into full-on tactics until we look after the culture of this club. It's a project. We need to get this right. I thought it was really interesting, just the management of big names. And he said, he'll never forget when he was with Red Bull's Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry said to him, the key is top-end talent, they still want to be coached. So you still have to treat your training sessions and those players that way. You still have to give them information and make them part of the development.
Yeah, that's a fascinating bit of insight from someone, of course, who played in this league to an outstandingly high level, Robin Fraser, and has been part of one of the most successful teams, ironically, Toronto, as an assistant back in the glory era of the late teens. It's a lovely touch from Derek Etienne Jr. Sets up Bernardeschi, wants to get it on his left foot. Etienne Jr. made the run into the box. This is Insigne. Back for Bernardeschi, trying to find an angle. And ultimately, it bounces comfortably into the hands of Dane St. Clair with a flag up on the near side as well.
Well, it was so well worked between the three of them. Derek Etienne Jr., Bernardeschi, and Insigne. That combination play. But look at Corbin. As soon as that ball goes wide, you need players in the box, and he's getting there. But Minnesota, they have so many bodies in around that Bernardeschi just doesn't flash the ball, and they work it again. You just can't quite get that space. That little nudge from box, though, makes a difference. And it throws Bernardeschi off.
"20 minutes in at BMO Field. Welcome to you wherever you are around the world on MLS Season Pass, watching the first of the day's kickoffs in MLS. They're underway as well shortly in Atlanta. Later on, Orlando and the New York Red Bulls after us, 4:30 Eastern. Eastern Conference final rematch there. Cross has taken just a little touch off Yeboah. That was Rosales delivering it in to the danger area.
It was a sneaky little touch from Yeboah. Whether he's thinking this, steer it towards goal. But look, it's 2v2 in the box, so that's what you have with your two strikers occupying both centre-backs. And when you have that happen, you want a good quality ball coming in, slightly behind Yeboah. Still, you're asking questions, and every time that ball is getting wide, those two are getting in between the sticks to be options for their wide men.
Boxall, the deep clearance under pressure from Derek Etienne Jr. Last home win here for Toronto. You go back to September 14th, their last win indeed. They've been lost in by 2-1.
Little bump from Rosales after the fact. Bernardeschi on the ball.
I've always liked watching Rosales when we're at a game, when he's a competitive, feisty, talented player, has an edge with him.
Well, when we asked Eric Ramsey, up against Bernardeschi and game planning against him with the level that Rosales is, can you just say 1v1, give it a go? And he said, well, we do have a little more to it, but with Rosales, he said he has ambitions to be at the level that Bernardeschi has played at. Well, you need to be able to cope with players like this week in, week out.
That's right. Here's your test. This is Bernardeschi's cross. And an important touch in to clear it away from the advancing Etienne Jr. This is Rosales against Flores, and that's two men who know each other very well.
Well, they've settled back into this match nicely, Toronto FC. Minnesota were the aggressor. They're the better team out of the tunnel, but now Toronto's come back in. The commitment level's there. Flores making sure that Minnesota just can't pick their heads up and play out.
Honduran teammates. No friendship today, only foes.
Now you've got a chance to whip a really good ball in for your big men coming up. That in-swinger from Bernardeschi as well. Just needs to get the right height on it.
Canadian #1. Keeping all around him inside. And that ball has gone very deep and gone behind. A man did go down in the box. Ross did. This exclusive NetCam replay is brought to you by T-Mobile. So take a look at Sean Johnson's quick reactions in the early stages of the game from that deflected shot from Kwamane.
It was good against Inter Miami, a double save a week ago. That one, a bit easier for him to make, but one he had to look after nonetheless. That well there, Minnesota. As Instine was doing little doggy runs, little 5-10 yard sprints to try and close down. As Flores is sitting a little deep, so is Osorio. Just look at Osorio, middle of the pitch. That's Hlongwane, your wing back, starting to come inside the pitch to give numbers up.
Rosales, he got to that, and the header had just enough on it from Rusted. Hlongwane will let it go out for the throw, and Boxall will come across to no doubt deliver the deep ball into the box with 20 minutes left in a scoreless first half. Just the 5th meeting between these two sides, so they don't play too often. TFC have got the edge in the series. They've won 2 and drawn 1, but both the previous games here have been entertaining ones. 3-2 and 4-3 victories for the home side, head away and bring away through Etienne Jr. Bernadeschi now off and running. Yeboah back marking, and then a very firm challenge from Hlongwane, a clean one as well, and now here's Pereira.
Great challenge, great support in around Rosales as well. Yeboah was coming back, Hlongwane was there. Credit to Bernadeschi. Didn't roll around on the ground after that challenge, got right back up. Knew it was clean.
Those previous games, the 4-3 game was a late comeback. We're talking about Toronto homecomings. It was a Toronto boy, Jordan Hamilton, got a late double 6 years ago in a 4-3 Toronto win here.
A little bit scrappy, but part of that is to do with it. Neither player wants to give anything away, Lives. Osorio, a little exchange with Boxall. But tit for tat, both teams are going for it. And Diaz just getting a piece of Corbeau, and credit to the referee because he's allowing them to play.
Robin Fraser said ahead of this game the key would be winning duels. There would be a lot of duels across this field. There'll be a lot of those moments where some physical strength is probably going to need to really win out as the free kick's delivered and nodded down by Romero and intercepted with a second ball by Bernadeschi. Held off by Pereira, and once again no foul.
Fair play. They got his body there, Pereira. Used it well. Bernadeschi's trying to argue, just an elbow has come up. Didn't look that way.
You can see we've got the sun poking through the clouds now. Very spring-like day in Toronto, I would think now.
We could turn the cameras on you, Tony. It doesn't look like spring.
Just the extra layer still. Oluwaseyi trying to combine with Yeboah. Long was in the way. I say there was a brisk feeling in the air as I took a walk in the city this morning from Toronto. What about Sunday night soccer? Well, it comes from the Midwest this week, and what a game we've got in store for you. St. Louis City at Energizer Park against Diego Rossi, Daniel Gazdag now, and the Columbus Crew. What a big signing that's been, and one of those intra-league transfers this week for $4.5 million. Could Gazdag make his debut for the Crew? 6 o'clock Eastern MLS countdown, followed by the game live from Energizer Park. St. Louis and Columbus is your Sunday night offering, as that's Oluwaseyi hits it, deflected. It'll be a corner.
Oh, just about. That was sitting up nicely for Oluwaseyi. But great recognition, and you talk about that relationship with the number 9s. You get the centre-back's turn, and Yeboah just recognising Oluwaseyi. He's coming just off the front of him, knowing that Yeboah, he can't do a lot with it. He needs a bit of support.
It's Minnesota's second corner of the game as we approach the half-hour mark. Boxall's header. Now Flores got a touch to that. It'll be another corner. Pereira again then. Flores went up once more. It's cleared away. As far as trap, now Pereira. It's Rosales' ball. Second winner from the header with Lod, helped by Romero. Out to the right for the cross deep into the box. And Long got the shout.
Exactly was. We could hear it almost up here, couldn't we? The shout for Long, just to see it out.
Referee just coming over to have a quick word with Kevin Long.
Just to check on him, whether seemed to be wiping away his forehead as though he took a little knock.
Former Birmingham City defender. Tom Brady's Birmingham City these days, promoted from England's League One this season. On the march back up the divisions, it seems. That's a lovely touch that got him away from Romero, and he's back inside. On, he was trying to play it across for Corbeanu, but in fact it was a stricken Minnesota body on the ground that blocked it, and they bring it away. Pereira, the Loons coming at the other end.
There was a coming together between Etienne Jr. and Diaz, I believe.
Insigne, in the meantime, has gone into the book, presumably for something he said to Malik Badawi, the referee.
It was all about when Bernardeschi was on the ball and he was cutting in. Just looked in the middle of the screen, Etienne Jr., and that's Boxall, but Diaz on the other side of him. There is the bump. That is a foul, shoulder charge on the back of him, and it shouldn't have been a foul. Now Diaz knows what he's doing, and sometimes in a sneaky way you can get away with those, but that was too much of a charge. That should have been a foul. The ball would have gone out the other side to Corbeanu, and you would say that a promising position to be in.
You would have to say that was perfectly executed dark arts, wasn't it, really?
Got away with it.
And that would be Insigne's point. I think we saw it in the replay. His argument was it was right in front of the referee as well, but not called. Meantime, free kick at the other end of the field, and a header over the top by the offside Michael Boxall.
We just wondered why they were so open. That line needed to be right, because Boxall, towering header. Look at that line. Credit to the assistant referee. It's just the right decision, but you have to be disciplined and you have to trust one another when you're going to hold the line. Because if you hold it, but another teammate doesn't, and it's your runner going off you that goes and scores the goal, you're getting it from your manager at halftime. And so you have to trust your other teammates. You don't drop until that free kick comes in.
Corbeanu sizing up long way. Decent ball in. Headed away by Romero.
And that's just it. It was a good ball, but Etienne Jr. and another player, I think it was Petretta, were both making the same run.
Bernardeschi. Now Yeboah. Diaz forward for Juan. Player comparison is presented by Celsius. Pure passion and maximum energy with zero sugar. The playmakers, the creators for both these sides, Ross.
Well, Pereira, he's really evolved, really emerging as a top talent. He's got something different about him, great imagination. And Insigne, well, we all know what he has to offer, but needs to offer it more, and you're seeing that difference there. And while Toronto has been more about that commitment, the engagement, winning those battles early on, at some point you needed Insigne to get his foot on the ball more.
Sinclair with the free kick, and Johnson's come out, taking a tumble over his own man. There's a flag up on the far side. There'll be a free kick for offside. We're into the last 10 minutes now as Johnson is slow to get up of a scoreless first half.
Commands his box well, and you can tell that he's given a shout. The fact that Long is ducked out of it, that's a strong keeper there, making sure his area is looked after and instructing his centre-backs.
Unflappable last week, Robin Fraser said he was.
Well, I thought it was really interesting as well, because Robin Fraser said in his post-game into Miami, said at halftime, and they just conceded, said when he walked in, the players were already having a back and forth with one another to sort it out. And chatting to him on the training ground, I said, well, what players was that? He said, well, Sean Johnson's one of them. Wouldn't have been happy the way that they conceded against Lionel Messi.
That was all too quick from Oluwaseyi, and Long has given away the free kick. Oluwaseyi picking the pocket of Kevin Long.
And how that's not a booking, Tony. Long's on it, he's picked his head up, it's a loose touch. Oluwaseyi's in, he gets the touch. That's a booking. If you're giving Hlongwane a booking down at the far end, that's a booking as well. Surprised. Just seeing at the halfway line, Dane St. Clair, he's pointing over to the area that Hlongwane was booked, and he's chatting to the assistant referee.
Eric Ramsey is saying the same thing, I think, at the moment. As Johnson lines up his wall, this is from the left channel, and Pereira is standing over it, so it'll be an away swinger. The Rosales is there as well. It is Pereira, and it's headed away to the far side for a throw-in.
Quite the best of balls. Wasn't deep enough. You want that just curving in, whipping in around that 6 yard line.
Box all primed with the long throw. Thought about the short. Does go deeper. Corbin is the man to head it away. One back by Will Trapp. He's done well. Diaz up there.
Little moments like that, Tony. That's Insigne going to the far corner. His first game back against Red Bulls, he wasn't doing that. He is now.
These are the team benches built by the Home Depot. Tyrese Spicer has recently returned from injury, and the former #1 draft pick is back on the bench for Toronto. They've also got the new man who saw a few minutes last week, Maxime Dominguez. And as for the Loons, the two South Koreans, and also the Panamanian Carlos Harvey, and DJ Taylor is on the bench today.
It's interesting just watching Flores and Osorio. They're okay with the ball being played in front of them, but they're staying nice and attached to the centre-backs. They don't want anything and leaving a gap in behind them, so in between the centre-backs and themselves. And so they're making sure they're staying about 5 to 8 yards in front of the centre-backs and ensuring that area is protected and helping any entry passes into the front men. Essentially, you deal with the biggest threat. You look after those two, and then you worry about what happens once you eliminate that.
Here is the threat again, then. Corbinu's header. Insigne jumping up as well. This 5'4" frame And winning the second ball as well. Ongwane lifts it forward. Yeboah in behind and pushing on Thompson and giving away the free kick as we approach 5 minutes to half-time.
Just a little bit of contact enough. The ball bounces, hits an awkward run over with defenders, and Thompson, there's not a lot in there. But any little bit of contact, they're going to ground, yet more often than not, you're seeing the referee help out the defender.
It's Diaz's header. Lod caught by Corbeanu.
Just comes slightly from behind. And I think the argument again will be here, well, why isn't he going into the book? Does he get a touch of the ball with his right foot? Oh, it's close. He's apologizing, so he feels as though he didn't get a touch on the ball. And again, Tony, Ongwane went into the book. Similar challenge. Of course, the position on the pitch was slightly different, but still.
So look at where Sinclair is, all the way up to the halfway line to take this free kick. And the high line of Toronto, the ball lifted forward where it's headed by Diaz. That's Flores away.
So there's Flores staying connected again. That does so much for you as a centre-back when there's a second ball when it's bouncing in. You have your recovering centre midfielders cleaning things up.
Ongwane's made the run over on the right. It's a switch from Pereira. It's a cross from the South African. And it drops ultimately to Bernardeschi. Let Johnson pick it up.
It was a strong hand from Long on Romero as he went up for it. Romero just has a little word with the referee as he goes back. He was unable to jump because of that arm from Long. It's been tightly contested. Both teams giving very little away. And you would say, first and foremost, it'd be credit to Toronto. And Robin Fraser, I think, would enjoy this level of commitment. You need to match that with Minnesota United first and foremost.
Yeah, very keenly contested. The kind of game that sometimes in the second half there'll be one incident, one flashpoint that'll blow it open.
I think the big one for Toronto was the fact that Yeboah and Oluwaseyi, they haven't been able to open up the game and really get running at the back line in the channels or in behind.
This all in front of Minnesota as well from Toronto, but now here's Bernardeschi, who can unlock a defense at will, it seems, and here he goes again. He's going to try the shot. It's blocked by the advancing Romero. Corbeanu.
He's done well there, Romero. That recognition when you're in that back three, and when the ball's in front of you 5-10 yards, your numbers down, you need one of those three center-backs to step forward and be willing to go put in a challenge. That's what Romero did against Bernardeschi. Asked Eric Ramsey, you know, how good is it to have a 36-year-old in the middle of your back line with a 24-year-old on one side and 21-year-old on the other? It's that experience and calm that Boxhill brings, but instructions as well to those youngsters on either side of them, when to release and go win the ball.
Kept it in through the pace of Oluwaseyi, and then they've won a free kick for the foul. Ongwane, the man, sent to the surface.
He's been cutting inside a little bit more, Ongwane, and again, it looks shoulder to shoulder. Ongwane going down a little bit too easily. I think the players for the most part, be frustrated the fact that there's a little bit of inconsistency here from the referee in the first half. And so you lose the understanding of, well, what is allowed and what isn't.
Now this would be a good time to score, wouldn't it? But not from a free kick like that. Well, TFC facing Western Conference opposition today in Minnesota, and next week they're on the road. Robin Fraser will take his side to Utah, where they'll take on Real Salt Lake. It's a 9:30 Eastern kickoff for that one. And of course, like all games, it's live right here on MLS Season Pass. I'm sure Robin Fraser will look forward to that, a former Colorado Rapids player and head coach. No stoppage time, end of the first half, and they'll head to the locker rooms goalless, Ross.
Well, for Toronto, they've matched the commitment level of Minnesota United. Minnesota United coming in here full of confidence, 6 matches unbeaten. They've been at it, but they haven't been able to open the game up the way they would have liked. So you would say, I think Toronto FC at this point, are they happier, the two sides?
Toronto still searching for a first win this season, of course. Minnesota maintaining the unbeaten run. 45 big minutes to go. Halftime next.
Playing for an ultra?
We're playing for ultras. Brace you for an ultra?
Put an ultra on it. Don't forget, there's ultras on the line. I didn't.
Michelob Ultra, superior like beer.
Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. The sweet scent of a honeymoon in Fiji. Moisturized with vitamin B3.
You better not be using all the Old Spice.
Ooh, can you get my bag?
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Oopsies. You go.
No, you go.
Oh.
Go for the handful.
What's up, soccer fans, football fans, footy fans, whatever you want to call it? Toronto FC. We're playing Minnesota United, and we've got to get the victory today. Come on, TFC. When are we going to start getting some results? We are already in too many games into the season without a win. We have got to turn this around and turn it around quick, or else we can forget about the playoffs. We're already sitting at home with no Champions League. We're in a tough matchup in the first round of the Canadian Championship because it's MLS competition when everybody else is playing the Canadian Championship teams, like, you know, the Forge and Cavalry and lower league CPL teams. Come on, TFC. Don't let us down. We're really at the bottom right now. We are really, really, really low, and we've been very, very low before. We don't like it. Let's turn it around, and we're going to start that right now. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon for MLS Soccer, regular season soccer. Big news here on the show with Toronto Sports Insider. Sister channel Sons of a Pitch Soccer is sponsoring an MLS Go Youth Tournament just outside Chicago because that's where I live. We will be working with Evolution Soccer Club and Sons of a Pitch Soccer to bring you awesome youth soccer content. My kid and some of their friends, his club, and we're doing a lot of work with Manchester United and their youth evolution system, hence the name. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for hitting that like button, chatting it up, cheering on our Reds. Make sure you cheer loud. Lots of Go TFC goes. Get access to those emojis, 99 cents a month. That's it. Join as a member. Super easy. We'll see you back in the chat. Thanks for being here. Go TFC. Go, baby. Let's go. Come on, TFC. Come on. Didn't expect that one, did you?
can't catch it, slices too much across it. But then Toronto, they started finding their way back into the match. A nice little interchange between Insigne, Etienne Jr., and Bernardeschi. Bernardeschi, the most likely in that first half to create, come up with something. Boxall just gets a nice little nudge on him. So as he lays it off, Romero, he switches off, and Bernardeschi just gets the other side of him. Watch this little push by Bernardeschi, by Boxall rather. It's a slight little nudge to throw him off balance. Going the other way, he's talked about it. Coming in, Rosales, Bernardeschi would be a good matchup. Rosales just flashing the ball across the face of goal. Oluwaseyi in the middle, and Yeboah just coming across. Slight little nick, the ball's across him. Slightly behind. Nothing comes of it, and you would say that not a lot in terms of chances, more about the tackles and competition in the midfield in the first half.
Yeah, fierce, competitive, but not a lot of goal-mouth activity, and you can see that reflected to a certain degree by the XG. Toronto's goal tally for the season has been short, and it's reflected again in that first half, although they do have the only shot on target so far. Minnesota United and Ronald McDonald House Charities enjoy a warm and productive partnership. Starting last season, they teamed up for a one-of-a-kind donation drive. Allianz Field is the first stadium in any professional league to have a permanent pop-tab collection system. Last year alone, Minnesota United collected 20,000 pop-tabs, contributing to the $20,000 that Ronald McDonald House Charities receive annually from recycling pop-tabs. Great initiative, great work in the community. The work on the field, well, it's hard toil so far. No way through for either side. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
I'm an overpowered leaf blower, and I'm not exactly street legal.
And if you don't have the right auto coverage, this could really blow your budget. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Hola.
Maybe a different beer?
No, Michelob Ultra.
Okay, be right back.
Mr. Messi.
Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
He's on the run! Cool as a cucumber! Beautiful wall pass! Brilliant! Just next the defender!
Linda asistencia.
Lowe's knows what a great assist can lead to.
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake. And I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace. I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
Welcome back to the Audi halftime report on a cool but pleasant day in Lakeshore at BMO Fields. 0-0 here between Toronto and Minnesota. We've got afternoon action across the league as well. New England Revolution have got a priceless lead in Atlanta right now. That's also live here on MLS Season Pass. Following us, Orlando and the New York Red Bulls start at 4:30, repeated last year's Eastern Conference Final. The action continues right through till late tonight. Vancouver and Montreal are both in action, representing Canadian interests. What a week it's been for the Whitecaps. And tomorrow, Chicago, Miami, followed by Sunday Night Soccer, St. Louis and the Columbus Crew. The top performance is presented by Audi, and we're focusing in so far on the Italian, wide on the right for Toronto.
Well, if there's a way through, it's going to be through. Bernardeschi has been the script for Toronto for the most part over the last few seasons, but shown a couple of instances where he's gotten the other side of Minnesota, but credit to their defense, because every time that there's been a little bit of a breakthrough, there's support coming in. And can't Bernardeschi go that extra next step in the second half.
This is Major League Performance. This is Audi, official automotive partner of Major League Soccer. There is Bernardeschi's heat map in that first half. He gets himself around the field. Of course, he's inverted.
You know, I think it's important too, Tony, because we've seen him in past matches when it wasn't quite coming off. His heat map then would start to go all over the pitch. It's important that he sticks to his role and takes on the responsibility that's required of him in those wide areas, that he doesn't go looking too much for the game.
Now, have you watched Onside Major League Soccer yet? Well, if not, you're seriously missing out. With exclusive access to players, coaches and clubs, this docu-series dives deep into the electrifying moments and stories that make the 2024 season unforgettable. All episodes are now streaming on Apple TV+. Well worth looking out for those. Excellent series as we look back through the 2024 season. So far, goalless then between the Loons and the home side TFC. Our second half is live on Apple TV next.
I'm an overpowered leaf blower, and I'm not exactly street legal.
And if you don't have the right auto coverage, this could really blow your budget. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by, like, a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
And my party of 3.
We about to level up. That supersonic I never see. Got the pins in the back, all eyes on me. I'm too fast, got hot speed. That supersonic I never see. Got the pins in the back, all eyes on me. We about to level up.
This is the new Star of the Seas. Book your vacation today.
Welcome back to Toronto, Ontario. This broadcast of MLS on Apple TV is presented by T-Mobile. Weather starting to turn spring-like. And although it's still a day where you need to wrap up a little bit, certainly the fans out in good force. The supporter cam is brought to you by Lowe's. Visit Lowe's for the ultimate assist on your next project. You know, this fan base around here, Ross, they're craving a return to the good times.
The good times are so good for them. I mean, there's big investment going on in the fan base. How multicultural it is here. Have so many different supporters from all over the world come to these grounds that they want to see success.
Well, he's the kind of player that can bring it. No changes from either side at half-time. Tony Oluwaseyi, who first watched an MLS game here, a Toronto game, some 10 years ago. There's Derek Etienne Jr., who's been playing a bit longer than him. 200th MLS appearance for him today. This man could be playing here in the World Cup, who knows, in 2026, because Michael Boxall's New Zealand team are already qualified. So stalemate in the first 45 minutes. Is this one going to open up in the second half? It's Minnesota who will get us underway for the second 45, playing from left to right. The Canadian international goalkeeper Dane St. Clair with the early ball forward. Minnesota attacking the lake end, southern end of the stadium. A stadium that will see 17,000 extra seats installed before that World Cup finals next year. Gianni Infantino was in town last night as well. The FIFA president's been touring North America, the likes of Charlotte and Nashville in the past few days. Looking ahead to the Club World Cup as well as the World Cup here next year. Bernardeschi out on the left to start the second half. Dangerous because Corbeanu was arriving. Boxall's header. Flores has hit that, and we've seen him arrive to hit shots like that very effectively this season. His one goal was an absolute net buster in Orlando. Couldn't quite keep that one down.
For that one in Orlando, the ball was along the deck for him. This one, there's a bit to do. As Boxall, he makes up for Romero's wild clearance. And that's always a difficult one. On his right foot as well. He's going to have to cut across it quite a bit and control that to steer it on frame. It goes nowhere near it.
The start of the second half, Bernardeschi has gone to the left and Corbeanu to the right. So he's on his natural side, Bernardeschi, but he's cutting in for the moment. And he sets up Etienne Jr. for the first significant save of the game from Dane St. Clair.
It was a great little run from Etienne Jr. though as well. Timed it well as Bernardeschi cuts in. And it just opens things up. That touch right there. He slips it across, and Etienne Jr. not at the best of angles. He's got to get his hips around it. But look at that from St. Clair, how quickly he comes out. Can't come out until that ball is played, and he's quickly on it. It's a good start though.
Bernardeschi has taken almost all the corners this season, but this is Insigne with the in-swinger, and Toronto's first of the game. Thompson, under pressure, and the referee's going to play advantage because it's broken for Oluwaseyi. He's got Yeboah alongside him. Yeboah now, pressure from behind from Insigne. Leaves it for Hlongwane now. Lod with a touch. I think they're going to come back for a booking in a moment when play does.
Well, Pereira hasn't got up off the deck. Down. He's still down.
You can see the reason why Malik Badawi, the referee, played the advantage, because Minnesota did get the break.
I think you start to question as Pereira wins that ball. Would you be looking at Doxo, but it's so far from goal, and there's, you would say, a recovering defender, even though he's far away. That's Osorio. There's that touch there. Osorio's the last man back, so he's the last defender. You would say he is tucking back in, and given that it's so far away from goal, that's where Thompson is spared from a red card. It should be a booking. It should be a yellow card.
Thompson reverting to playing in a defensive role He's played as a wing-back in past years for this Toronto team as well. But he was just caught out there, the man from North York, and he had to effectively make the touch. And there was no booking either from Malik Badawi, who so far has put Longwane and Insigne in the book, as we remind you of the two teams, and no changes at half-time. Robin Fraser, though, once again today, unable to field the same back line. He's had to change it every game for one reason or another. Gomes is the man who's out injured today, and Derek Etienne Jr. is the makeshift striker. Reminder, DeAndre Kerr is unavailable. Ola Brynhildsen also out. Both of them suffering with what's quoted as lower body injuries. So Etienne Jr. enforced up top by Robin Fraser. Eric Ramsey, no such issues, although of course he has got the likes of Hassani Dotson on the long-term injury list. But he keeps an unchanged starting 11 for the team that won in New York City last week, although the second half they had to see the game out. We mentioned in the first half that's been a challenge at times for Minnesota during this season. And of course the infamous game at Kansas City where they were 3 up and ultimately drew 3-3. Conceded late as well against the LA Galaxy. So that's a little personal challenge for them, as this is Romero for Lud. Lud's Finland team have got off to a decent start in World Cup qualifying. He could be playing at this stadium next year. Now the break into the box from Rosales. It's deflected, and Flores gets in front of him.
Well, we've been saying that a lot today, Tony. As Flores, he's been getting there, and he's there protecting again, as Rosales does a nice job just getting beyond Corbeanu. Finds that little gap of Flores. He just slots in nicely to protect the ball from coming in. It's interesting because I just wonder what Bernadeschi is. He come over to this left-hand side to give Toronto a different look, of course, but given Hlongwane was pushing on so much in the first half to try and catch him out, Bernadeschi going the other way.
It's the long throw again into the box. Looking for the scraps off it. That's trapped to touch it back. Pereira, nice touch and turn. And that's Rosales in for Oluwaseyi. It's blocked, and then the follow-up blocked again. Lod can't reach it. Insigne to bring it away with the help of Bernadeschi now.
Two good and strong blocks from the centre-backs from Toronto. Rosted was the first one, and then Long. Those two, Tony, they've stuck to their task today.
Longwane with the challenge there, and a free kick for the foul on Etienne Jr. Here's the chance.
Yeah, look at the blocks. Rosted just looking after his mark. Oluwaseyi, and then Long. He's connected. He's there as Romero's in an advanced position, trying to get his strike away. But Corbeanu's on the ball now. If they're going to stay these sides, well, now we've got this battle between him and Rosales.
Good cross in from Corbeanu as well, headed away by Boxall. Worth remembering, of course, Longwane was booked in the first half, and that challenge on Etienne Jr. at the start of the second, he hasn't got too many left. Rosales has made the run. Thompson holds him off.
So Bernadeschi in this instance, he's not coming back with Hlongwane. He told Petretta, you've got to look after him. And Bernadeschi, you call it cheating, just cheating a little bit. How much of that we'll see in those wide areas between Rosales and Corbeanu. Bernadeschi and Hlongwane.
Well, we just mentioned Hlongwane just walking the tightrope a little bit. And I think Eric Ramsey and his coaching staff down there have felt that at the start of this second half. And so DJ Taylor, who's not appeared yet this season, another one of those who's been unavailable to Eric Ramsey, will come in momentarily as Petretta gets across in front of Oluwaseyi.
I'll tell you what, Tony, that was a great ball from Pereira. And it needed Oluwaseyi to cut in a little bit more and cut off that run from Petretta. Instead, he was running almost too straight.
He's the man who has 4 assists on the season, and he's with balls like this.
Look at Oluwaseyi. He doesn't use his body and cut off that run from Petretta. That's a decent ball in, and allowed the left back for Toronto to come back in and cover. But that's really interesting. And I wonder if Eric Ramsey just having a word with Hlongwane there. In his word, you're on a booking. Bernadeschi's come to your side. Taylor, he's good two-way wing back. But he's going to look after things a bit more defensively than what Hlongwane would.
Playing in Minnesota 2, DJ Taylor, so he has had match action. Here's Ludd. This is his first minutes of the MLS season. So he comes on to replace Hongwane. Different kind of impacts. Eric Ramsey had said that Hongwane's fitness had improved greatly in the last year, but of course he's asking him to be playing in a more hybrid role, he said. Well, Taylor probably more straightforward.
Yeah. If Taylor comes in and just does the job. Of course, you don't want Taylor just to sit in, though, because then Bernadeschi doesn't have to worry about tracking back or passing him on at all. So you still have to keep Bernadeschi honest. Just don't think you're going to see Harvey Taylor bombing down that right-hand side as much as Hongwane.
Vauxhall won the corner. Joseph Rosales, his 100th Minnesota appearance in all competitions to take it. Short and then wasted.
Poor ball from Rosales. Got all your big men up. In swinging to put it in, and he put it out.
10 minutes into the second half. Still Toronto's search for a first win of this campaign. Those fans have been treated to just the 2 home games so far this season. Away heavy schedule. Just the 1 point from 6 at home. And it's goals they need, isn't it? 7 goals in 7 games. It's the 3rd lowest XG as well, if you're into the numbers in Major League Soccer. It's not helped by the unavailability of natural strikers today.
DeAndre Kerr scoring 2 goals and then picking up his injury. And then Breen Hilson coming in and Robin Fraser comparing him to Carlos Ruiz. The way he uses his body and makes life horrible for defenders, he's unable to select him today. But for me, Tony, this second half, if you're going to start then talking about goals, it's getting the ball into Insigne a bit more as well. Getting his touches and just seeing what he can do to open up the game.
Bernadeschi sizing up Ludd. Away, and this is Insigne in a dangerous area for him. Yeboah almost in the way of that. Thompson retrieves. Long finds Flores. Osorio, mentioned him too much today. Wants it in the middle now because he was in a pocket of space for a moment. Insigne now out to Koeman, who has let it go outside him. He's up against Rosales, coming infield onto the left. Now Thompson, good possession, but is there any penetration from TFC? Flores wins that. Bernadeschi now. Wide out onto the left foot. There's the shot, and it's a comfortable one for St. Clair.
As he was shaping up to prepare the ball and get a strike away, Ludd, he recognized it, put the pressure on, kept them wide, kept pushing him out at an angle. Just watch Ludd. Bernadeschi starts to shape up now. There's a bit more urgency to close down. Taylor comes in to help out.
Another off-season of upheaval, of course, here in Toronto. Ironically, they did actually start last season pretty well under John Herdman. They took 10 points from the first 7 games, only 3 thus far this season. Pereira. Rosales cutting in. Diaz helps it back out to the substitute, DJ Taylor. Yeboah. Now Pereira. And the cross, if it comes through, can be reached to the far side by the arriving Romero, whose shot is deflected over the top. But that was some good football, and it nearly brought the first goal.
And that was a good chance as well. I think Yeboah was having a word with Romero, wanting that ball coming back to him. Look how quick Johnson gets out, though. Thompson, he doesn't move his feet well. He reaches for it. I think Romero, given the amount of bodies in there, he's well entitled to go for goal himself, but Jocelyn keeps himself big, takes his off his body.
That's a super save from the 35-year-old Sean Johnson. Some big ones last week, and that was a really big one at the start of the second half to prevent Minnesota from taking the lead as we approach the hour. Here's the corner. Flores with the header away, trapped on the loose ball, scored last week in almost similar circumstances and doesn't get hold of that. Early start to the action today, 12 games in total though across this Saturday, and you can follow it all with all the goals as they go in, and indeed the build-up to it all with MLS Countdown. 6:30 Eastern, Kalen Kyle and the crew will get you ready for the evening matches, which include both of the other Canadian sides. Montreal taking on Charlotte tonight, Vancouver hosting Austin. What a feeling there is around the Whitecaps at the moment. On the other side of this vast country. What a start to the season, leading in the West and winning in CONCACAF, or winning through in CONCACAF after a dramatic draw in Mexico this week, and now setting up a semi-final clash with Messi in Miami. Osorio for Insigne, shrugged off it. It was Rosales. There's Romero to clear, didn't go far. Petretta across, and now ultimately Corbeanu, and he runs into Rosales.
Just touch tackle at the moment.
Both sides trying to get a rhythm. Corbeanu skips past his man now, and the cross is blocked. Kept in play as well from Corbeanu. Oh, Flores has got it away from Pereira. Flores in behind looking for Etienne Jr. and he couldn't keep it in play.
Bernardeschi and Insigne, they're upset with Flores there. I mean, Flores has just gone in and stopped a promising attack going one way. But then he needed a bit more care on the ball. Eye of the needle stuff there, as Etienne Jr. would have been offside, was offside. But instead, Insigne and Bernardeschi, they wanted that ball to come central.
Yeah, that was the flag for offside against Derek Etienne Jr. 28 years age now, 200 games in MLS. He has 3 goals for Toronto out of his 20 in MLS. None thus far this season for a man in a makeshift role today, must be pointed out. For a team struggling for goals, it's a challenge. Petretta. Who's in space? This is Osorio combining with Insigne. Bernardeschi with a little touch. Raul Petretta will cross, and Will Trapp will bring it away.
What's interesting, when that ball was worked back out wide, Osorio was making run. He wanted combination play with Insigne. Instead it went out wide, and there was a moment lost. A few players for Toronto are a little upset with one another that they're not on the same page.
A little bit wasteful from Yeboah on the break.
You just feel, Tony, the onus now, I said Toronto in the first half would be the happier of the two sides, given that they matched the level of intensity and commitment. Well, now it's up to Toronto to go and find the goal. So the more that they push numbers forward, does that play a little bit more into Minnesota United's hands? Lowest team in the league in terms of possession, but Minnesota aren't bothered about that. So while Toronto may seem as though they're in control of their committing numbers forward, playing in the front half, just watch out. Because Minnesota, that's when they come alive.
Corbenu's cross, Sinclair's catch. 36.2% possession for Minnesota so far as their average. It is the lowest in the league. As we take a look at the matchday live scores presented by AT&T. Just a couple, this one and the game in Atlanta, where New England have a half-time lead. That would be a big boost for them to get a result on the road there. The rest of the action continuing through the evening and late into the night on the East Coast, plus 3 games tomorrow, including Miami's trip to Soldier Field, Chicago. And of course, that St. Louis Columbus Sunday night soccer game.
How massive that would be for Caleb Porter and his side. Carlos Hill, the goal scorer, the only player for New England to score a goal so far this year.
Yes, it's been a challenging start, as it has been for TFC as well. They're actually in the midst of a 13-game winless run in all competitions. And when you lose that winning feeling, it can be hard to gather back, as this ball's lifted into the penalty area. Taylor was up there. Oh, that's played behind Bernadeschi, but he's kept it in. Only to succeed in giving it to Lud, and then he's fouled him. And so the Loons will have a free kick.
Frustrated there, Bernadeschi. Everything he had to do not to throw that ball against the ground, which would have been a booking. There wasn't a lot in there, Lud. He's looking for it. He's keeping his head, though. The start of the season, Tony, and we were there in Orlando when it wasn't going Toronto's way. Bernadeschi, demonstrative, throwing his arms everywhere, whether it's to the referee, whether it's to his teammates. Started to, you would say, lose his head a little bit. There's been more discipline about him. I think that's important because the other players play off of what they see from him.
What they need to see now is some solid rearguard action, because they've got a free kick to defend, and that has taken a touch at the near post off Petretta, and they'll go behind for a corner. This will be Minnesota's 6th of the game. They haven't proved terribly effective so far from them.
Big bodies in that area, and they're getting around Sean Johnson, trying to block off his pathway to come and have a say.
Just past the 20-minute mark in the second half. Flores stoops low to head away. Rosales. That's better. And then the header is a little errant from Long, and it had them scrambling for just a moment. And it'll be another corner. Rosales takes it. And it's Flores away. Knocked forward then by Long. The midway point of the second half.
I just wonder at what point does Robin Fraser start to look at it, and Maxime Dominguez on the bench, most likely to come off it, bring something new.
It's a big sign from the Vasco da Gama on loan. Now that's Yeboah nipping in and getting away from Flores, who has to be careful as they go into the penalty area. Malik Badawi just says play on, as down went Yeboah.
But there was a coming together, and Flores, it looked as though it was clumsy on the backside of Yeboah. What I would say was it just outside the area. I'm surprised this isn't given as a foul. Flores leaning into him. Is Yeboah looking a bit too much for it? Maybe so. Boa's always going to ground and just outside the box.
I wonder if Yeboah almost trips over the ball.
Yep.
His right foot plants and catches the ball. He goes down. Those who watch Minnesota every week, though, Loons fans will be saying that we've had a few VAR penalties, both given and awarded. Here's the cross from TFC and comfortably away by Romero. make another change in a moment. Minnesota, I should say, are going to make a change. Sam Shashua is going to come on for a rare appearance in his season. Will Trapp, we're told, is the man who'll come out. That's lofted into the back post. Corbeanu trying to receive it from Bernadeschi. Those two have switched again.
It was a good ball in from Bernadeschi as well. Somebody needs to get across the face and be getting on the end of it.
Coming out of the match, number 20, Will Trapp. He's replaced by number 19, Samuel Shashua.
Trapp takes the nearest exit, and on comes Shashua. The 25-year-old for his third appearance of the season. More forward-minded type of player.
And we'll be playing out of that right-hand side in the middle of the park. Ludd in the central area of that three of Shashua, Ludd, and Pereira. But to your point, Tony, you expect Shashua to join in a little bit more over the front too.
Spicer being readied by Toronto. Inside the last 20 minutes now at BMO Field. Toronto are still looking for a first win of the campaign. They're looking to just get on the scoreboard as well here today. Will it be today for that first win? After 13 winless, go back to last September. The heat map is presented by IHG, 19 brands, 6,000 destinations. Download the app today. Joaquin Pereira.
He's such a complete player. Both sides of the ball defensively. He's got the grit. Tough as nails, will stick in, but then going forward. Hasn't really had that break open moment so far today. Showing glimpses of it, but he's got something different. He's got a final pass. He's got a through ball in him. What he does have is an influence up and down the park.
He's a player who's going to create more goals than he scores them, although he said he's keen, of course, to get his first goal in Major League Soccer. But I think you can tell everything about him. He said that he's not desperate for that first goal, he's calm. Here's the substitution. Derek Etienne Jr. will come out, and the former Lipscomb University graduate Tyrese Spicer, Trinidad and Tobago international, will come on.
I think what you'll see now is Corbeanu, he's going to move into that number 9 position, the striker role. Spicer out on this left-hand side.
Spicer, another of those who's been among the walking wounded for Robin Fraser's side so far this season. Here's Pereira. Heat map will just have extended a little bit more there as he finds Rosales. There's Yeboah chasing, and that was really strong from Kevin Long, and he wins the free kick as well.
Well, they've done so well tonight, Long and Rosted, just playing within themselves. Not getting stretched, understanding when to come out of their pockets to go and win tackles like what we've seen there. And I thought coming to the stadium tonight, the main focus was going to be in that area, and with Long and Rosted get pulled all around the park by Minnesota's front two, and they haven't done. That's reading situations well, that's organizing bodies around them. They've done well. All that experience. And right now that's winning over. Winning out on what is two very informed strikers.
Rosted, the Norwegian, has that experience. He's 30. Kevin Long's 34 now. Just keep them in front of them. It was mainly your mantra, wasn't it, in your defending days? Don't get turned.
My heels were always on the end line, Tony.
Now here's a chance for Shashua, the substitute, and that's swept away by Rosted, and Insigne there to help out, and Thompson forward.
Well, Insigne, and credit to him, he's doing the job defensively and he's sticking in. And I think that's where he took a lot of stick because of the lack of it against Red Bulls. He got his first appearance of the season, but at some point you have to start talking about, well, you're getting paid the money you are to do something in front of goal, to do something to break down a team, and we haven't seen that influence at all. You know, we saw a couple little moments, brief moments in the first half. But he needs to take over a game. And I know he's still getting up to full fitness and what have you. He needs something.
What do you think the end game is with him here? I mean, is it get him playing, get him impressing, get him back into a bit of form, and then likely he departs in the summer, or is there still life in this contract and this adventure yet? Brought over after such fanfare, of course, a $15 million salary, a free kick given away here by Bernardeschi and Flores converging.
That's just it. It has to be the right move as well, because clubs have rumored to have come in for Insigne as Rosales, he dips inside, and Bernardeschi a little over-eager. So yeah, you get Insigne playing it. You feel a player of his stature, there's always going to be clubs interested, but what you sense is, well, it's got to be the right club.
Minnesota have had a lot of dead ball situations, if you throw in the throw-ins, literally, that they've had this afternoon. Can they make one of these count? 5 set-piece goals this season. It's the best in the league. It gets a little flick on and it's still loose.
It's just not a great turn. It's not a great ball from Rosales, and he's...
So Shiboa gets outside Osorio, who tracks back well ultimately.
There's been a few times that Rosales he's let his teammates down with poor quality coming in. There, you've got a nice alleyway to just whip a ball in, put it across the 6-yard box, and let your players go and attack it. And instead, he doesn't hit, he doesn't miss out the first man.
Well, we're into the last 15 minutes. We said this was a kind of game that had something that would turn it, that would blow it open. Historically, in this fixture, which has featured 21 goals in 4 previous games, Toronto has scored 4 times in the last 15 minutes. Late goals, late winners on occasion, including 6 years ago. The last visit of the Loons here. Oluwaseyi now, the Canadian international, friends and family all watching. He wants to make an impact. 5 in 3, remember, coming into this.
On the international stage, scoring for Canada as well against the US. His first ever international goal. He's been kept quiet.
Romero doesn't mind getting forward, does he? And here he is again, although he's given away a foul. And there is Dominguez, a home debut for Maxime Dominguez. Coming in the next couple of minutes, just getting his final instructions down there.
That's interesting. Stephen Beitashour, new assistant to Robin Fraser, the one giving instructions. A lot of praise for what he's done defensively with this team, but obviously giving some, well, maybe not perhaps attacking instructions, maybe more set pieces then. That's been primarily Beitashour's role, is locking things down defensively.
Robin Fraser brought him, and then also Neil Emblem across from having previously worked with him in Colorado, but of course in Beitashour's case, great history here. That's lofted long, and Bernardeschi has got onto it, and he's played it in, and arriving with Spicer, and needed a touch. Spicer might still get there. Boxall clears it away.
And Bernardeschi thought Insigne was going to cut back. Instead, Insigne was going to the far post. But there was a lovely ball over the top initially. I believe it was Long that just puts one in behind. Ledecky gets the other side. It's a little bit of a scramble. Diaz, he doesn't quite sort his feet out. Corbeanu and Spicer almost getting into each other's way.
Double sum, out comes Insigne. On comes Maxime Dominguez, the on loan Vasco da Gama attacker. Corbeanu comes out as well, and Charlie Sharp comes in. The 23-year-old has only 2 career MLS appearances to his name, but this is the first here at BMO Field.
As Dominguez comes in, that number 10, just playing underneath Sharp.
Different look for the final 11 minutes plus change. Sharp, the target man. Dominguez will sit in just in that Insigne role. He's come over from Vasco da Gama. He was struggling for game time, but when you've got Dimitri Payet and Philippe Coutinho in your line-up there, it's hard to force a way through. I tell you, I saw Payet in some of his great times at West Ham. What a player. Absolutely mercurial on his day. A couple more changes coming from Minnesota as well. So both sides are trying to do something, and they're using their allocated changes to try and affect some kind of change on this game. Or are we ultimately, as the sun pops out again, going to just drift towards a point? Mechanic and Sangbin John ready to come in for the Loons. Technically a trip south from Minnesota here to Toronto, and fans of Minnesota watching at the watch party in Uptown VFW today in Minneapolis. Going to see their team extend this unbeaten run, and they're close now to making it 7 unbeaten, but still some work to do. That was Dominguez. And then looks like a stray hand, which has brought the free kick.
It's Romero down. It's the left hand of Dominguez. When he gets back up, Romero. Just watch the left hand of Dominguez. Comes across. Wasn't an awful lot in it. Just a slight little touch.
This exclusive NetCam replay is brought to you by T-Mobile. Sean Johnson on at the moment for a second shutout of the season, and that save there, a key one to keep out Romero.
Well, he was so quick off his line, stayed big. I'd say it was the biggest chance for Minnesota United. Best chance.
It's just about the best chance we've seen, actually.
Yeah, for Minnesota United, who have done so well this season, one of the top teams in the league at creating opportunities. Been starved today.
Well, BMO Field is getting behind them, and here comes Dominguez running forward and pushed in the back by Diaz, and that'll be a yellow card. And they're just trying to rally behind the home team here. It's late in the game. There's a game to be won. There's points on the line, and there are 3 points to be snatched by either side. And, well, will home momentum make the difference? That's the challenge that draws this free kick.
Well, Dominguez, he's made a difference since coming in. Now you have a number 10 who is getting the other side of the midfield and running at the back line. You haven't seen that from Insigne. Playing in that pocket and playing passes left, right, back. Now Dominguez getting on the ball and asking questions. Look how high this Minnesota United line is. I mean, you have to be on the same page that you don't drop too early.
Bernardeschi standing over the free kick. Now they drop. It goes to Flores. And now to Spicer. And it's brought away by a touch from Oluwaseyi.
They dropped early, but they dropped together. It's just to save any big run-up for a Toronto FC player.
I thought as well when we saw the replay for the challenge, Diaz on Dominguez, and a face of ferocity from Dominguez as he got to his feet.
He's coming deep to get on the ball like what we see now, but then he understands he needs to create. That's why he's brought in. He's not brought in to connect passes here and up the numbers in possession. He's been brought in to create, so he gets his touches here just to get a feel for the game, but then he starts to carry up towards the defensive line for Minnesota.
Approaching the last 5 minutes, Minnesota are poised to make a triple substitution. Carlos Harvey is now getting ready as well. This is Sharp's cross.
There's a poor ball from Dominguez. Sharp hasn't had a touch of the ball. He's trying to just play right on Boxall and drive him back. Yet to be involved, though.
Spicer's got away from Diaz and away from Ludd. Dominguez on the turn. Cozy Thompson wants it. They'll go wide to the right for Bernardeschi. Onto the left foot. Here goes the shot. And saved by Sinclair.
Well, as soon as the ball came to Bernardeschi, there's only one thing in his mind, was to drift in an area where he could get a strike away. It was going to be difficult from distance. Running straight across the pitch, trying to whip your foot around it. I mean, he's capable of it. Difficult skill to try and pull off.
On the other end, Pereira. Oluwaseyi in the middle. Flores deflects. Out it goes. Loon's corner. We're inside the last 5 minutes now. We're still looking for either side to snatch a priceless goal. Before the corner, the triple change for Minnesota. Rosales comes out. Anthony Marcanic, who's had his fair share of starting minutes on the left this season, will come in. Kelvin Yeboah bows out. And Jefferson Diaz is coming off as well. And Carlos Harvey, the Panamanian, who was a slight injury doubt coming into the weekend, comes into the game. That's all 5 changes made now by Eric Ramsey. And here is the corner. Flores rises highest. Pereira lifts it back into the penalty area. That's long away, and then there was a little bit of a tussle off the ball with Harvey. Robin Ludd for DJ Taylor. Bernardeschi slips. It's lifted back in. And long. Anywhere will do from that moment. Booted into the stands.
Well, Harvey and Boxall come on top of each other.
The match momentum is presented by Old Spice. You can see the peaks and troughs for both sides through the game, and it's been largely heavier pressure from Minnesota. Possibly that outlines just the lack of strike power TFC have got. And they're defending again as the ball is lifted in. And ultimately, Dominguez with the high one away. Last couple of minutes, plus what we believe at this stage will be about 3 minutes of stoppage time. Scoreless draw against Vancouver here for Toronto. Could be heading for the same again. What would be a 3rd straight point for Robin Fraser's side, but they really would have wanted 3. But this is a good Minnesota side. give away the free kick. And Minnesota will be back at home next weekend, 8:30 Eastern, for the match against FC Dallas. Tickets for that one, always a good atmosphere at Allianz Field. MLSsoccer.com/tickets if you don't want to watch it here with us on MLS Season Pass. 6 games unbeaten for the Loons coming into this. Their longest unbeaten run, actually 8 back in the 2020 season. Of course, that was a shortened year as well, so even better run, really. Bernadeschi wants a free kick. He doesn't get it, so he's quickly back on his feet.
I thought there was enough in that.
Oh, that was a sloppy ball away. He's giving it to Spicer, and that is lifted over by Osorio.
It's not enough quality. It goes down as an opportunity, but Osorio's feet were never set. It's a poor ball out. Romero normally is so good in those situations. Osorio just not enough behind it either. He's going for that left foot curler. Never looked like it.
He's on 49 MLS goals as well, Jonathan Osorio. Added time is presented by Audi. We're into 3 minutes. Taylor for Pereira. And set away now for Sangbin. Leaves it outside him. Oluwaseyi trying to work it through.
Well, this Long again. And Long, he's made it work. Got his feet slightly in a tangle, but when you're having a day, you're having a day. And that was Long again.
Probably wouldn't have played today.
No, I was just going to say, Tony, Gomes, I think he would have been selected over top of Long, but given that Gomes was struggling with an injury, go from the challenge in that Inter-Miami game where Gomes has almost done the splits to prevent a goal or a sure goal.
Yeah, the price of a point in Miami, but ultimately Kevin Long has come in and done a sterling job today. They're still in good voice, and they still hope, with 120 seconds left to go, is there still a twist? Rosted for Petretta. Spicer goes down the line.
I just struggle to see right now if it's not going to be Bernadeschi to find a breakthrough. How's the goal going to come about?
Sort of give away the free kick from the Harvey throw. Is this destined to finish goalless again? But here's the chance to effect a dramatic finale. It's Johnson's free kick forward. It's Harvey's header away. It'll be a throw-in with 40 seconds left. And TFC, perhaps with one last chance to get a first win of the season. Osorio for Petretta. Back for Osorio. Bernadeschi wants it over on the far side. Here goes Jonathan Osorio. Stays on his right and shoots. And Dane Sinclair, the Canadian international #1, makes the save down to his left.
Osorio, he does well to work the space. As he gets inside, you're just waiting. See, would he have the space? Would he be able to get the ball out of his feet to get a strike away? Decent strike. It's one that the Canadian #1 international should make, though. Safe in the end.
The winless run continues for TFC. The unbeaten run for Minnesota. 7 for them now. 8 without a win to start the season, though, for Robin Fraser. His side foiled again at home, Ross.
Well, it was about commitment rather than the creative today as Minnesota come in, the hot team full of confidence. Toronto, they matched them in terms of engagement. But in terms of coming up with something special, well, for both sides, it went begging.
A game of few chances, but when there were them, there were people in the way to stop them. This is the player of the match. It's Sean Johnson, who has a second straight shutout here, his 17th now for TFC.
Well, it wasn't a whole lot asked of him, but what was, he was there. Similar to last week, this one, a wicked deflection off Yeboah. Johnson having to scramble across. This is the biggest moment of the match. Romero, the left-sided centre-back, finds himself in an advanced position. Settles the ball nicely, but Johnson comes out, stays big, puts the ball out.
Sean Johnson, ever present in a Toronto side that's been hard hit by injuries this season. But that continuity between the posts proving really, really important, and he gets the shutout. Toronto get another point as they continue to try and build the culture, but they really want to try and find 3 points from somewhere. As for Minnesota, they head back to the Midwest with another point and maintaining the unbeaten run. We'll break it all down. We'll have the match highlights and some reaction on the other side of this break as it finishes 0-0.
If I was a flower grown wild and free, all I wanted you to be my sweet honeybee. And if I was a tree grown tall and green, all I wanted you to shade me and be my If you were awake, I'd be a nod. If you were a seed, well, I'd be a pod. If you were a floor, I'd want to be a rug. And if you were a kiss, I know I'd be a hug.
You ready? MLS is game on. Dochi? On. Stars on.
Kevin Sullivan, the history maker.
30,000 friends? On. Rivalries on.
Versus New York City.
MLS, this is our soccer. Game on.
Emma, party of three.
What's up, soccer fans, football fans, footy fans, whatever you want to call it, Toronto FC. We're playing Minnesota United, and we've got to get the victory today. Come on, TFC. When are we going to start getting some results? We are already in too many games into the season without a win. We have got to turn this around and turn it around quick, or else we can forget about the playoffs. We're already sitting at home with no Champions League. We're in a tough matchup in the first round of the Canadian Championship because it's MLS competition when everybody else is playing the Canadian Championship teams, like, you know, the Forge and Cavalry and lower league CPL teams. Come on, TFC. Don't let us down. We're really at the bottom right now. We are really, really, really low, and we've been very, very low before. We don't like it. Let's turn it around, and we're going to start that right now. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon for MLS soccer, regular season soccer. Big news here on the show with Toronto Sports Insider. Sister channel Sons of a Pitch Soccer is sponsoring an MLS Go Youth Tournament just outside Chicago because that's where I live. We will be working with Evolution Soccer Club and Sons of a Pitch Soccer to bring you awesome youth soccer content. My kid and some of their friends, his club, and we're doing a lot of work with Manchester United and their youth evolution system, hence the name. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for hitting that like button, chatting it up, cheering on our Reds. Make sure you cheer loud. Lots of Go TFC goes. Get access to those emojis, 99 cents a month. That's it. Join as a member. Super easy. We'll see you back in the chat. Thanks for being here. Go TFC. Go, baby, let's go. Come on, TFC, come on. Didn't expect that one, did you?
He's looking for the curler, but it's always going to be safe for St. Clair. Hard fought for both sides, you would say. Disappointing for Toronto at home, failing to score, but they were a lot more committed yet again.
Well, that commitment emphasised in an encounter that ultimately would be a stalemate. Look at that possession. It was split basically 50-50. Just the 5 shots on target from both sides, 4 of them for TFC, but they couldn't find a way past the Canadian international Dane St. Clair. The season's in full swing, and so are the prizes for MLS Pick'em. Make your picks each week for a chance to win big. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen there and play now. Well, a decent day to come out on the lakeside for the home faithful. They didn't quite get what they wanted, looking for a home win, but TFC with another one, 3 unbeaten for them now. But there was no way through on the day. Post-game continues on the other side of this break.
At RBC Wealth Management, we know you have ideas for your future. Ideas that can have you taking more time off or putting more time in. They could mean more peace and quiet,